today we're talking about closing loops, which a lot of people don't know what a loop is, but there are hundreds a day probably that are being open inside your company. Hey, can you get this for me? Hey, can you ask so-and-so what to do here? Hey, can you start working on this project? What's the status of this? Where is this? What's the amount for that? Do you have this ready? Those are anytime you basically ask a question or ask for something, you're basically opening a loop. And I mean, I can't tell you how many loops are open in my mind right now from just little things that I have to do. I mean, do you feel the same way?
Oh yeah. Something jumped in my mind while you were talking there too about open loops is the number one way people kick back responsibility, right?
What do you mean?
So you're trying to delegate. You're trying to delegate
Okay.
a job to somebody, and you say, "I need you to accomplish this by Friday," and they say, "I will as soon as you get me the keys to the skid loader." Now it's back on you, right? That is the number one way when you're trying to delegate people. That is it. I mean, if you're the guy who has to get all the details lined up and everything's teed up so somebody can go do something, you're doing the job, albeit you have to communicate at the end to complete it, right? But that really is just when you were saying that, that's one of the biggest things about leaving loops open is people will do that all the time. And when you are delegating, that's the exercise of delegating is making sure to say, hey, handle the issues. Come back and tell me how you got it done and don't put it back on me. And that's just in passing. And then, I've got open loops, and the way I handle open loops in my little one-man shop is I got a notebook over here and it's got about 150 open loops on it right now.
There you go.
Right. Things I'm going to have to, some of them are pretty close to close, but I need it. Well, no, they're open loops. If they're on that piece of paper,
They're open loops.
They're open loops. There are things I got to check on. Did I finalize that? Did I accomplish what I wanted? I got it in a fashion. When I write things down, I am kind of closing a loop, a partial loop, because it was in my head, and I go absolutely insane when I'm sitting at a stoplight trying to remember all the things. I've got to get it offloaded. Either send myself an email in the car or I wrote it down, get it off. And then I've got one place to look, as we talk about all the time. When I have time allocated on a Friday, maybe a Saturday afternoon, I go look, clean all that out, and then retain the open. But your point is well taken. I have a bunch of open loops.
Well, and I think that's the source of so much of the stress and what allows you not to be present, whether you're present with your employees, with your spouse, with your kids, when you're on the job site, when you're in the car. It just becomes overwhelming when you have all these open loops and you're not sure when they're going to be done. And a lot of times, you're in the one-man shop, but think about all the things that you've asked an employee to do that you're not sure of if they did it or not.
In the past,
like that stuff can weigh on you. Or it doesn't weigh on you and you assume it's done. You make an ass out of you and me, and it's just awful.
Oh, that's one of the main reasons people don't delegate. The one we hear all the time is they can't do it as well as I do.
Yeah,
which may be true. A lot of times is absolutely not true, but that's the thing we hear most often. The other one is what you just said. It's you're not really getting it off your plate because all you've done is put it from actually do it to be sure I don't forget to follow up. And so you have just as many items. You just moved them from one list to another.
Yeah.
So,
well, I think
I do have a proposed solution.
Okay. What's our proposed solution? Let's get to
it. Well, I mean, it's something I talk to people about and I talk to myself about, but it's the 3 Ds. When a matter crosses your desk, and let's just say it's an email, you either deal with it right now, respond, you delegate it to somebody else to deal with it right now, or you get rid of it.
You just don't do it.
I mean, and I was talking to you before we did this podcast about I need to be more congruent, practice what you preach. That's one of the things I do. I have a stack of papers in the upper left-hand corner of my desk that are things that came across that I don't want to throw that away yet, but I'm not going to deal with it I'll just give you an example. There's a lot of bank statements,
Mhm.
right? Well, I get all my bank statements electronically. Why the hell do I keep them on my desk? Right. So I don't have to print them off when I reconcile. Yeah. Get rid of them because they're sitting on the corner of my desk. And what I'm doing there is kind of like Mitch Hedberg's old joke. He said, when somebody hands you a flyer, it's kind of like they're saying, here, you throw this away. Right. It's like, I'm going to put it up there. It's a 6 months delay to throw away.
Yeah.
Right. I put it there 6 months later. I kind of thumb it through all this critical stuff I didn't want to get rid of. And then I just throw it all away, start a new stack. So that's not what to do.